I work with a lot of footage for my videos. I've been watching these clips for a very long time while editing, years at this point. But this one in particular, it highlighted something that made me realize what I believe it is pretty bad. We all know just how immersive the Isle is. They do a good job when it comes to that. The devs put a lot of focus and effort into it and they have been succeeding on that front. But I've been noticing this trend of immersion and realism being slowly pushed further and further, and this specific clip opened my eyes to just how deep the hole really is. Take a look at this. And I mean really look at it. This is not real. Well, of course it's not real, it's a video game, but it's not the game we play. We don't play like this. Nobody does. Are you telling me that a herd of Deebles, man, are just gonna stand there and watch a member of the group die by raptors? No, this doesn't happen at all. Maybe on roleplay servers, but not on most community ones, and certainly not on officials. This is the vision the developers have for the game. This is how they intend players to act on a daily basis. And you can see this on other trailers as well. The huge flock of pterodons nesting on rocks, the Cerators having a stalemate with Carnos, the herd of Stegos Z-walking past the Peki. Nothing about this is real. If you log in right now, you pick any server you want and you play it, you won't see this stuff. And you yourself won't do this either. The Isle is being built under an ideal that the game itself cannot support. And it's not because there's a lack of mechanics. Just look at nesting. An extremely important feature for this genre and something that we were all waiting for a very long time. On the update it came out, the trailer had a massive group of different herds all nesting together, behaving like real animals. Super neat, super immersive. Fast forward to today, nobody is nesting. A completely dead mechanic. Not only people don't use the system in a way that developers want us to use, people just don't use it at all. Even when the Isle has systems that support the kind of behavior developers want, even then, it's implemented so weirdly that demotivates people from utilizing it in the first place. There's no incentive to act the way they want us to, there's no benefit for doing so, but above everything else, it's just not fun. Is this Deeble player having fun? Fighting off a pack of 6 Omnis by themselves while the entire herd just stands there? How is that enjoyable? These are unrealistic expectations. This promotional material is essentially the dev saying, this is what the game offers, this is what we envision the game to be, this is the experience we want you to have. And keep in mind, there's nothing wrong with that. Afterthought is not in the wrong for having an idea of what they want the Isle to provide to players and how they want us to enjoy the game. That's usually a positive. But here, their vision just doesn't happen. This is all fake. Look, this Omni is even eating the Deeble while it's still alive. You cannot do that in-game. This is incredibly staged to a degree that gives a false expectation of what the game is on purpose. We don't buy it because you and me, let's be real, we played the Isle for years. We know what we expect. We are aware how the community is and what people do in-game. But newcomers? They don't. Just imagine a person that never saw the Isle before in their lives and the first thing they see about it is this teaser. We both know that this and their experience actually playing it would be vastly different. That is a massive problem, and not in the way you think. This whole scene, and many others for that matter, they all show that Afterthought is so hyper-focused on realism, immersion, on their perception of how dinosaurs behave, that they are willing to sacrifice anything to enhance those aspects, including the game's enjoyment. Just ask yourself, how many times have you heard people, including the devs, responding to a gameplay change with, but it's more realistic that way? That's always the excuse. It's always the same justification. But for what? What is the point in doing so if the game is just not fun? Every time I play it, I constantly feel like the Isle is actively fighting my ability to enjoy it, continuously putting obstacles in front of me and preventing me from having a good time. And I see this is a feeling, but it's really not. if you decompile the entire game and analyze all its mechanics like I have been doing this entire time, you will see that the way their systems function in cohesion, it legitimately goes against your interest. At the moment, this dinosaur survival is not being made to be enjoyed, to have a good time. It's being made to be as immersive as possible. So much so that it's sacrificing your ability to have fun just to get there. It's sad, you know. It's sad that Legacy, which is technically far behind Evrima at the moment, still feels much better to play. It looks worse, the movement is worse, the combat is worse, but it still feels better. There's no diet to punish you every 10 minutes, the UI lets you nest freely, you have the choice of talking to people or not. Legacy is worse in so many ways, but at least it was open, more relaxed. It didn't stress you out constantly with artificial stuff you need to worry about, just so you don't get arbitrarily penalized. Evrima was supposed to be more of that, to be a better Legacy, to be the Isle we all want it to be. What we are getting right now is something else. Something that plays better, but feels worse. The camera disaster is the best example of that. They literally said, being able to see everything around you is a problem. Vision is a problem. Really. Who are these changes for exactly? The entire community went nuts after that stream, and they only put that on hold because the community straight up said that they would stop playing the Isle if that monstrosity was implemented. They didn't scrap it, mind you. They just stopped talking about it. So who knows if an update randomly will get those changes. That episode especially made me think, who are they making the game for now? Is it for us? Is it for people that don't even play the game in the first place? Is it themselves? I can't answer that question, and I think nobody can really. The entire community loved the Isle from the very beginning, ever since it was that terrible, shallow, PvP deathmatch only game. We all loved it, and we enjoyed it more and more the longer it evolved. Legacy's development cycle was as chaotic and messy as one could get, but despite that, it always felt like the game was getting better, bigger, expanding. When the survival game mode became the standard way to play and more dinos were being added every few months or so, that was peak Isle in my opinion. Over time, they refined their vision for it, and once they found out that style they wanted, they locked in and kept adding into it. For years. And when Evrima was announced, we thought it was going to be just more of that, an addition, an improvement of that. But I think they are just going way too far with it. There are some of you right now that believe that this is not that deep, but I think it is. This is being taken to such an extreme that it's hurting the game itself. I don't want Legacy back. I just wanted a good game. That's all. A huge thank you to my Patreon supporters for supporting the channel and the content I create. If you want to join the ranks, you can do so for only $1 a month. The link will be in the description. Don't forget to leave your thoughts and opinions down below. Join our Discord server, engage with the community, and I hope to see you all next week.